Hey guys, it's Elliott Booth, and this is the Tattoo Removal Australia show. Say goodbye to the myths, confusions, and conceptions of the tattoo removal industry and say hello to real information, real clients, and real results. Welcome to the TRI show with myself and my beautiful co-host Rita Silva, where we will take you beyond the trend.
Guys, today you have a Q&A. That's where you submit the questions and we give you the answers. You can submit your questions in a few different ways. The first way is via email. Email us to askelliott@tattooremovalaus.com.au.
Thank you, Rita. Or you can go onto YouTube and drop the comments in the comment section below the videos. We'll also pick some out of there. Thank you for joining us. A little bit about the show. We have shows within the show. Today's Q&A. Other times we will invite real clients from the clinic to come in and join us and share their experiences, their tattoo removal journeys with you. You'll notice on the show that we don't run ads. I'm funding this show out of my own pocket to be a wealth of knowledge and to help guide you through an often confusing and cryptic industry. There's no real source of information when it comes to tattoo removal. So my sole objective is to give you unbiased opinions and guidance through your tattoo removal journey. All that I ask is that you share the show. Down in the comments on the YouTube video, there's a Google review link. Please click on that Google review link. Please leave a 5-star review. That will help drive my knowledge and my experience into the industry, and it allows me to guide more clients through a successful removal. Thank you for sharing the show. Let's get started.
All right, here we are.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. That's our third episode. We are so excited. Our third episode and maybe the last one for this year, yeah?
Yeah. And there's every chance that this will be coming out early January. It's just before Christmas when we're shooting this, so please forgive us if our timeline is a little bit off. This could have been recorded in the past.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or does everyone else feel like the last 2 weeks of December is carrying on? It's like everyone oh my God, I cannot.
I think it's just you. I think it's just you. Time's flying.
Time is flying.
Over here on my side, time's flying.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy just to think then it has been 10, 11 months. Then we made a decision to move down to Gold Coast.
Yeah,
and
February,
February last year when we moved in, was this time last year.
Yeah, we were packing.
We are deciding to, move down.
Well, we didn't decide to move down.
Yeah, you did.
I was lucky enough that you followed me. Well, yeah.
I was kind of dragging on.
Rita needed a gentle
extra,
push.
Yeah.
How's work going for you? How's the December rush?
It's been good.
Yeah.
I think that's the time when everything starts to slow down a little bit.
Is that why your last couple weeks have gone slow?
Yeah, and I think it's at the same time then it goes slow, slowing down. The same time we're getting exciting for the new goals, and everything's about to get the achievements for next year. So it's.
Do you think it's just in people's head? Because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Call me the Grinch if you want, but in 2 weeks' time it's the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone
our actions and behaviors it has not to be different for the same one in January, it's just I just believe then with the start the year it's a kind of a new opportunity as well, you just have to take as a new restart, and you don't have to wait to beginning the year, but It kind of gives you a little bit of the extra inspiration to,
Not to be the devil's advocate, but I don't know. I sort of sit here and I think if you have to wait to the new year to really change something in your life, that's probably not going to be a lasting change if a new year is the only thing motivating you.
Yeah.
Not to put a Debbie Downer on it, but does that make sense? If it has to be January, that does it for you. You're going to slip back into your old self pretty quick. You need a bigger driving force than that.
Yeah, it's you need just the big force and then keep going as well. So it's not just the beginning of the year. Yeah. It's just
once the motivation wears off and the discipline has to come into play, that's
you have to hold on the same energy, the same thoughts, like through.
Which is never possible, is it? Like, because I think, at least speaking for myself, the motivation wears off pretty quick. The motivation is what gets you through the door. And after a couple of months, the motivation subsides. You don't enjoy getting out of bed that early anymore. But that's when the discipline and realizing, I don't want to do this, that's exactly why I should do it.
Yeah.
Everything's saying don't. And then that's when you say do.
Yes, so true.
Yeah.
You just have to hold on like for that thought and for the feeling of like feeling accomplished for a day, maybe for an hour, and then maybe for 1 hour, for one day, and then you'll be able to hold on for a month.
Yeah.
So, it's like all about the discipline. And
which say, do as what I say, not as I do, because I'll probably get fast food on the way home from today.
Only you.
Yeah. The one thing I'm disciplined at is work. Thank God.
Yes, you are. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And I'm so excited to go through our questions today.
Yeah, but
let's see what we've got.
Before we jump in, speaking of work and being disciplined for work, I think you do it almost better than anyone. There's, being a personal trainer, I mean, you have people that come to you unmotivated, which is a pretty it's a difficult weight. Like, talk about carrying a sandbag. Like,
Yeah.
Can you scratch the surface? Tell me.
Yeah.
Like, for example, today I was at the gym. You were there working. I was there doing a back workout, and you came up to me and guess what? I got a new client. Yay.
Yeah.
At what point, so when you start when a new client starts with you, there's obviously that sort of exciting process at the beginning, but pretty quickly you would learn what they're about, right?
Exactly. So it's what I always like to say to my clients, it's the importance of we build a very genuine relationship, and then that will keep us.
That's funny. That's exactly what you said to me with our relationship. No. Please go on.
That's what it's gonna help us to be very honest and keep it's gonna facilitate the process of me giving you the support,
Yeah.
So today, I had a new client come on board, she's just then the process of get to know the machines and getting into fitness, and then she has marathon very soon, in just beginning of the year. So we have a few goals, and it's just that force, the motivation that will be very good for the first weeks, but we need to working on the process of the sustainability. So that's the hardest part, because everything everyone likes to see results pretty quickly. We are living in a generation instant gratification.
True.
It's give us inspiration. And I believe then when you have to be with yourself, you have to feel challenge and acceptance. That's when
that's not my forte.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when you're learning about. So that's why I always say then fitness build strength in many different areas of your life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Not just your physical.
Not only your physical, brings your mental as well.
The physical benefits is merely a byproduct.
Yeah.
Right? So the gym and training, weight training and discipline in that regard, looking good is quite literally just a byproduct.
Yeah.
It's like the foundations and the building blocks of a successful life.
That's so true.
Having that discipline and that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The aesthetics, if you start,
if you're chasing that, you'll
only change it. Then aesthetics, the way then you look like, it's awesome. That's what everyone wants, but then it's not going to be enough to keep you on the path.
When the motivation wears.
Yeah, because guess what? The results will take time to comes up. You're gonna see. It's gonna take time to see the change on your body. Like
when that motivation wears off.
Yeah,
and if that discipline's not there.
Exactly. I had like a DEXA scan, which is like this scan. Then you can see like the percentage of your body fat and also like the percentage of your muscle mass, and also analyze like your bone density and all the things as well. And then I go one like in June, and then I just got like recently last week, and like surprisingly, then I think I built like 400 grams like in like pretty much 7 months.
Is that 400 grams of muscle?
Muscle. Which it's like, you guys, oh my God, like, you know, like it's like, it's a lot if you think about it, but it takes time. You're not going to get jacked overnight. Like I have so many girls, I don't know, like I'm getting too big. I don't want to get too big. I don't want to get like big arms or big legs.
It's like, you wouldn't have this discipline if you tried.
Yeah.
That's not what you need to worry about.
It's going to be hard, you know. Of course, like you have more, like some people has more tendency to develop a little bit more of arms, or the ones to develop a little bit more of legs. But like the importance, like the major thing is like you need a lot of effort to build up like just muscle mass. So
for you to gain 400 grams of muscle in 5 or 6 months, is that like a tangible, visible difference, or do you think the DEXA scan is really important to see incremental figures? Sorry, your figures go up incrementally to keep you motivated?
Exactly, yeah. So
because it's such a small number to visually notice in 6 months.
I know. If you look at my photos, like that's why it's so important to do the progress photos as well. Because like if you see my photos, you can slightly see like a little bit, I build a little bit more muscle and definition like on my legs and a little bit more like on my back. But it's not something then if I wouldn't have the photo, like on a daily basis, you'll notice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like having a measurable gauge, like a DEXA scan, or whether it's like a bit more simple, but pinch test, just having actual numbers that you're following.
Exactly. It's very helpful. To keep you, I wouldn't say motivated, keeps you on track.
True.
So, and then you can make adjustments around those results. Like, do I need to eat a little bit more? Do I need to drop a little bit more? Like what I'm doing, am I doing too much? You know what I mean? Because all like those components will affect on your performance as well.
For sure.
Yeah. So
really interesting.
Yeah. And I believe that's the same thing like for tattoo removal. Like you take the photo like the first treatment, and then you need to see the photo. Like when I see my photo after like my photos after my first treatment is like, wow, like it's very different.
What a good segue.
Yeah.
Because every client that I laser, I've had this conversation with, the tattoo fades so slow that you look at it and you understand, you can see that it's faded. But because you see it every day for 6, 12, 18 months slowly fading, you understand and you can see that it's faded, but you really lose touch of how dark it was. Because you see it every day, you're used to it looking lighter. So we look back at the original photo and everybody goes, oh my God, that was so dark. I forgot how dark that was. Because you're looking at the tattoo lighter every day, you basically forget as time goes past and you stop appreciating just how dark it was. Photos are so important.
Yeah, photos are very important.
Kind of just keeps tattoo removal clients motivated as to sort of, it's like the rewards along the way. You know, the ultimate goal is the complete removal, but you're sort of getting drip fed these sort of compounding progress photos, which is really cool.
Yeah, because you look into the tattoo every day, you kind of see that it's fading, but like you don't realize how you kind of adapt with the image, you know, and then you see every day. And then once you look at the image, the previous image, and then you go, wow, that actually was pretty dark.
It's kind of like when you gain weight, you look back at a photo and go, holy shit, I got fat. What happened? Because it happens so slow. If you're eating off track or not training, it happens so slow. You look at a photo and go, oh my God, I put on 5 kilos.
That's so true. Is the accumulation of the good habits or take to good results?
I've never made the connection of the similarities between personal training or just exercising and tattoo removal. I feel like life, there's just these like fundamental rules that don't change.
Yeah.
Like time, execution, kind of, it's all compound effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so like sticking to a process for a certain amount of time, you will eventually yield the result. It's inevitable. Like if you keep showing up, whether it's for gym, for tattoo removal, if you keep showing up for a prolonged period of time, the result will come.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the common denominator.
Yeah, that's so true. It's everything, like even like learning a language, like when I got here, if like you learn one word or you learn 2 words, 3 words, you have to keep every day like asking questions. You have to be open to be corrected. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't learn how to speak a language. Okay, like just like that. It's the same thing. You have every day be open to
We should be philosophers.
Understand.
I think we've gotten to the wrong field.
Talking too much shit. Let's go what it's important.
What are we here for? Thank you very much, guys, for continuing to engage with the show. It's really motivating for us. It's really cool to get all these questions. And this podcast, it's not just fun, but it's kind of, it's nice to have your support and know that we're sort of, I don't want to say helping, but we're helping where we can. There's confusion and there's a misunderstanding with tattoo removal, and it's really cool. Like it gives me so much fulfillment to be able to help you through that.
Yeah,
like
it
doesn't have
clarity,
to be scary. It doesn't have to be confusing.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So I've heard you got some good questions.
Yes, I have some questions here. So let's go. Question number 1. Hey, Elliott and Rita, what are the most important steps to take when opening your own tattoo removal salon? Thank you, Demi. Let's go, Demi.
What are the most important steps? There's probably the first step is to do your training at the Tattoo Removal Academy. Apart from that, apart from the obvious sort of training and making sure your knowledge is on point, I would say that the most important thing, it's for tattoo removal and probably for everything, is trust. I like to say this like as if I know all the answers, but everything that I've built, at least with the tattoo removal clinic, is based on trust. If you ever wonder, how's there so many positive Google reviews and stuff like this, the number one thing is trust. And how I execute that, like the actual like brick and mortar plans in place that I put and I follow every single day, is realistic results. So making sure clients know before they start, before a client starts their removal, before anything, making sure that they can 100% trust you. And how you do that is by giving them realistic results, realistic expectations. So by sitting them down going, this is achievable, this is not achievable. Yeah. What everyone's obviously different, but giving them accurate removal knowledge to then let them make the decision, you will never have an unhappy client. You'll never have a client that gets halfway through their removal and then all of a sudden is upset because it's not what they expected. Maybe the result isn't, what they thought, because you gave them all the information at the start. When a client comes in with a really difficult color, I sit down and I say, look, if we treat this, it's going to 90% go, but some of that color may completely never remove. If that happens, I put them in the worst case scenario. If that happens, would you wish that you never started this process? And if they say yes, I say, let's not do it, because I'd rather disappoint them at the beginning by not giving them the answer or the result that they are sort of hoping for, because then they'll be disappointed, not with me, but with what's achievable. They'll never be an unhappy customer. So making sure that your customer has realistic expectations is the key to having a happy client base and a really successful clinic. And it's probably the same rule with everything in life. Trust.
I believe so. Yeah.
If everybody feels trusted, they will want to come to you and they'll want to come back to you.
Yeah. So that's why I believe it's so important to be clear about what they expect as well. That's like another point that you always make, right?
Yeah.
And then that's what you said at the beginning with my treatments as well.
Yeah,
like you don't expect you, then it's gonna like fade straight away.
Yeah.
It's not a fast process. And that's how, like, being honest.
Yeah.
And
my consultations are, hey, this will take 1 or 2 years. You will get result from each treatment. You will see compounding effect, but the day you meet somebody and they don't know it's there, it's 2 years down the track.
Yeah.
And then they're never disappointed. I feel like how, Demi, you can make sure that customers trust you in this is really refining your knowledge. I feel like, and it's probably the same for any industry. It's probably like what we were talking before. There's like a common denominator with anything in life. I feel like if you truly understand what you do, if you have a really in-depth knowledge, so aka you're never going to be wrong. Like you know exactly what you're doing. And I don't see how that can go wrong and mixed with the right intention. If you truly mean the best and have the best intentions for everybody mixed with the right knowledge, it's a recipe for success. And that's probably the same with yourself, Rita, with personal training.
Yeah.
If you know your shit and you truly want the best for everybody, if anybody's ever disappointed, it's their fault. It's because they didn't show up. It's because they didn't stick to their meal plan.
Yeah.
Or vice versa in my industry, it's because they didn't come back for their next treatment for whatever reason. If you have good intentions and you have good knowledge, I think they're the two most important building blocks. And then just time, letting the time do its thing, showing up every day to work with knowledge and good intentions. I think that's it.
Yeah, and I
trust.
think when you opening a business, you so worried about like the content. You so worried about like how you're going to express your knowledge.
Yeah.
But then like it's so important as well to have like this clear communication with your clients as well, to build this trust.
How I see business is you can do all the marketing that you want. You can do all the marketing. You can have all these like really specific marketing channels to funnel people through your door. It doesn't matter if you have a hole in the bucket. If that hole in the bucket is your lack of knowledge, like somebody comes in for a consultation, you spend all this money on this big marketing campaign, they come through the door, they sit down and talk to you, and it's clear that you don't know what you're talking about. You have a really big hole in the bucket and all your marketing is completely pointless. Your marketing and how you're going to strategize your business is equally as important to your knowledge, because it's all part of this ecosystem of conversion. And I don't mean to sort of sound like tattoo removal clients are this number, like to be converted, but it's a reality of business. If there's a hole in your bucket, whether that be a shitty machine, if that be your lack of knowledge, if that be whatever it may be, if there's a hole in your bucket, there's a really big problem and you will never truly reach your potential. So I feel like your knowledge, your machines, absolutely everything is on par as important, if not more important than your actual marketing.
Yeah.
Your biggest advocates, Demi, will be your clients. I run, not a lot of people know this apart from my clients. I run this really lucrative referral program. Mm-hmm. So the referral program that I run in the clinic, I believe there's definitely not a tattoo removal clinic that does this. How it works, Rita, if you're my client and you come in and you have a friend that wants their tattoo removed, and let's face it, who doesn't? Everybody has a friend that wants a tattoo removed. Rita, you're my biggest client because I don't have a hole in the bucket, because I know my knowledge, because I have good lasers. You are my biggest advocate. You are a source of new clients.
Yeah.
Don't have to spend $1 on marketing. And because I'm not spending $1 on marketing, I can give you a free treatment. So if a new client comes in and says, hey, Rita referred me, the new client's going to get 50% off their first treatment. That is to say thank you. And then you get a totally free treatment. And some people will look at this.
Yeah.
Some people will look at this and go, how the hell can you afford to give away, free laser?
Yeah.
And the reality is that's exactly how I afford it, because I'm not losing any money. I'm not outlaying any money. So with marketing, you can spend thousands of dollars a week on marketing. And to be honest, I do that as well. But the real interesting thing that I've come to learn is my biggest advocate is sitting in the treatment room with me.
Use it like your own
and they all have friends.
Yeah.
All of my biggest advocates have friends. So why not say thank you to everyone? Everyone gets a bit of a discount. And then it grows like a spider web.
Yeah, that sounds
So that was a very long-winded answer, but Demi, knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge, which equals trust. If you're in business for yourself already, you'll have a fundamental understanding of trust. Even to elaborate on this more, the reason for this podcast, trust.
Yeah.
If you say, Elliott, why are you doing this podcast? It's I want to give you information. I want to be here to share knowledge and guide you through a removal. Trust. Everything, this whole game that we play
around
is trust.
Building trust.
100%.
Yeah.
Brand authority equals trust. So this podcast, you could go as far as to say, I'm doing this podcast because I want your trust.
Yeah.
And then how that eventuates, and develops is another thing, but everything's trust.
That's right. Everything surrounded by trust.
Yep. And if you don't have the knowledge for whatever industry you're in, you can't build that trust.
Did you have this realization when you start your business?
No. It took me a long time to learn this. Not many people know this about me, but I have been in tattoo removal for 10 or 11 years. I have ADHD and I love what I do and I get really excited for things, which is a superpower, but it's also my biggest, I don't want to say problem. It's also my biggest problem or my biggest threat to my success or my anything is me. I'm 31 years old. I'm bankrupt because I had these brilliant ideas of how pre-COVID I would open this massive nightclub, and I was dumb enough to think that if you just were ballsy enough to open something like this, it would make success. Totally wrong. I learned the hard way. So I've built everything up. I've lost everything and nothing has taught me. And it sounds so cliche, but I'm actually really glad that happened, because all of that, I got stripped back to total basics. I lost everything.
Yeah.
Imagine being 28, 29, you have nothing. You come to this realization, this really, really sort of brutal and rough realization that nothing matters. Like all these material things, all these nice cars and stuff don't mean a thing. And that sort of prepared me for this. So now I've come back to tattoo removal, which I was doing the whole time, but now my energy and my 100% focus is in tattoo removal. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to be competing with me because it's turned me into absolute weapon. Back in the day, before I went bankrupt and all this stuff, I was spending so much money on cars and clothes and going out and drinking and thousands of dollars at dinner and just these crazy things.
Yeah.
The reason I'm telling you this is what I've learned. So you being my partner, you know this better than anyone. I get paid $650 a week.
Yeah.
Most people aren't willing to do that. I get paid on Monday. Some of that gets transferred for, car rego insurance, jiu-jitsu gym, weights gym. I'm left by Wednesday. We do grocery shopping and I have no money. Who is willing to live like that prolonged for a very long time? And I can tell you I wasn't, until it all got taken away and I had no choice. The reason I'm saying this is because no one will catch up. The money that I've learnt to stop wasting and stop spending, I'm living every Wednesday or Thursday. I have no money. And I can live like this, and the amount of money that I'm putting back into marketing, into this tattoo removal clinic, it's an absolute weapon. And that's why I say no one can catch me, because unless you're willing to live on $650 a week, there's people working, sacrificing more than you, working harder than you, and you will never catch them.
Yeah.
And I think
that's the hard way to learn, right?
A really hard way, but also the best way, because trust
now
me, in 5-10 years, the Tattoo Removal Australia is going to be unstoppable. But I doubt if I never lost it all, I doubt that I could bring myself to live on $600 a week. Like as a 31-year-old man, it's so crazy, you know, it's really, really interesting. So I think life always teaches you a lot and stuff like that. I know this is like a crazy ass way to go around. But yeah, it's been,
and it's just like how do I say, like the last 2 years then I've met you and then we are together, I can see the difference like of interest and then the focus and, you know, like how much you are more centered.
Yeah, true. And, even like going out to dinner, like, nah, don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Don't want to waste the money. It's so interesting. And actually really recently, a tattoo removal clinic in Brisbane just closed. So I realized, because I started to get like an influx, a few people a week were saying, hey, can I please get some removal information? I've already started the process, but the place I was going to has permanently closed. Yeah. And this is actually when I realized, so this removal clinic was open for about 18 months. Tattoo removal, it's not, I don't want to say it's not what it seems. Like it's not some gold mine. It's like the nightclub. You can't just pour money into it, open it and think you're going to get rich, because there's somebody like me that's living on the bones of their ass and that will do it for years and they'll just keep going because it's all they have. Everything else has been taken away from me. This clinic's all I have. So when you're competing with people like that, if you're not in it to battle that hard, you'll probably go out of business. And I hope in 10 years I'll thank myself for this. But if nothing crazy eventuates, like it's the game, right? I just think I've come to learn that there's people willing to work a lot harder than what you think. Yeah. And just because you can get investment or spend your money on starting a business, if you're not willing to lose everything and have nothing, people will outwork you. So true. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Question number 2, Rita.
Yeah, let's go. Here we have, let's see. Question number 2. Hello, Elliott. I'm finally ready to start removing my full sleeve.
Oh, full sleeve.
Full sleeve. When we do the first treatment, can you treat the whole arm in one session? Thank you for making a scary process way less scary. From Adam. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're ready to bite the bullet for your full sleeve. It's not a small tattoo by any means. And tattoo removal, I'm sure, Adam, you've gone through this. When you said you're finally ready, that's like the key words in my mind, because tattoo removal takes years to get to this stage. And funnily enough, I'm in the process of deciding that I'm going to remove my full sleeve, where I know that it will happen one day, but eventually when enough time passes, I will start. So I can totally understand it. Adam, I shouldn't say you can't. Let me explain this. I will never treat your entire arm in one treatment. If you were the toughest man in the world, even if you could endure that treatment, and look, I'm sure you could. I'm sure some people can. If you could physically get through the treatment of your entire arm, the reality is I promise you'll never come back. Part of my job is to obviously successfully remove your tattoo. Job number 1. The second part is to make it sustainable for you. Similar context, let me put it like this. If Rita had a new client that said, I'm so keen to get fit, let's do every day, 5 days a week. Let's go, let's get started. They're going to last 2 weeks and then they're done. It's unsustainable. You have to do bite-sized pieces. So a better plan of attack for a client like that, Rita, would be twice a week, even once a week, and then build up to twice a week in 6 months. Just for longevity and sustainability. If I was to laser your entire arm, Adam, I promise you would never come back because of the swelling. Limbs, arms and legs swell a fair bit. So does your abdomen, but because it's your abdomen, they're not extremities. You don't really notice the swelling. I usually laser sleeves in quarters. So the reason is, well, one, there's a lot less healing. So from like an actual like itchiness and point of view, like your irritated skin, it's a lot less. So
quarters are best, and also for swelling, it makes it way easier. A quarter of your arm still swells significantly. Like there's a couple clients that come straight to mind, recent ones, where they send me photos and they've got no knuckles because their hands all puffy. It's really normal. So when you start a removal for a big tattoo, whether it's arm, leg, whatever it is, listen to me. I'll always advise you of this. The first time I ever removed my hand tattoo, I experienced swelling like you wouldn't believe. The first treatment, I couldn't shut my hand. That was as tight as I could pull a fist. It was crazy. So what that taught me was people come in and say, hey, Elliott, I want both my hands removed. And I go, no, absolutely not. We'll do one at a time. And it's just making it more sustainable for them. And they go, yeah, no, I just want to get it done. Then they heal and then I'll see you in a couple of months. And then I basically say no. Yeah. We do one treatment on one hand and then they go, I understand. It's like they wouldn't have been able to drive. So it is really important to have, whether it's me or anybody else, a tattoo removalist that understands this. Because even if you're strong enough physically, mentally to remove such a big tattoo, it's not a good idea. Just for longevity and for just your own sake. So I love the enthusiasm. But yeah, definitely take the advice of bite-sized pieces for a sustainable treatment.
Yeah,
best outcome, best end result. The whole reason people start with me is to get to the finish line. So I think that should be done.
Yeah. Like little by little. Yeah. Have you ever had anyone that had a very bad reaction?
No. The only real reactions I've ever seen is from, I know this sounds silly, but like the adhesive dressings that sometimes we cover tattoos with. People have had bad reactions to ink that they've been allergic to. And stuff like that. So some people will come to me for removal because they're allergic to the ink. I'm not sure if you've ever heard about this. It happens to some people and it's mostly common with red ink. For some reason, red ink, it's super volatile for some people's skin. Could you imagine getting a tattoo and it never heals because you're allergic to the ink? I didn't even know this was a thing. Some people go through this and it's truly horrific. Having a constant wound from the day you get your tattoo till whenever. So some people come in to remove that. Each time I laser it, it flares up a lot. As you can imagine, your body's already allergic to the ink and then I'm hitting the ink and disintegrating it. So the real answer to your question is no. There's no real adverse reactions unless you're pre-exposed to something, which we definitely know about.
That's good. Like, there you go, Adam. Here was your answer.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Question number 3. I
appreciate you, Adam, for reaching out.
So now we have question number 3. And yes, now I think that you ask the question.
Hey, oh, really?
He's saying like the question is like...
Oh, this is a curveball. Sorry, this is a curveball. Question number 3. Firstly, this is not how the show works. Hey, Rita, this is a question for you. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Rita, this is a question for you. You mentioned that you're going through the removal process yourself. Do any of your unwanted tattoos ever make you feel embarrassed or worried that people might see them? I have a few I regret, and I often find myself feeling self-conscious and wearing certain outfits that cover them. Thanks so much for your insight, Lisa.
Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
I bet you weren't expecting this.
My question. I got a question. Lisa.
So this one really, I mean, I don't want to like point out the obvious, but this is from Lisa, and I feel like she might be asking you from like a female perspective.
Yeah.
A lot of men that I laser, there's not really like embarrassment issues or self-conscious issues.
I totally feel like Lisa is experiencing. I have I'm removing 3 tattoos, and then one of them is the Southern Cross. Then here just on my ankle, on my left side. And Lisa, when I got this tattoo, there was had a very good association. I was living in Australia, and then I born in Brazil, and then I was going to back home, and then the Southern Cross, there was a meaningful tattoo representing my experience in Australia. But then after
how long ago was this?
Sorry to interrupt. 13 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 years ago that happened. And then I decided to stay, and like time has passed and I feel a little bit embarrassed about my Southern Cross. And it's just because like I outgrow of it, and like I don't feel that it's like a thing anymore, and that doesn't have like the meaning.
Can I ask you a question? When you got the tattoo, was the Southern Cross anything? Was it embarrassing? Like, did it have a stigma of bogan like it does now?
I don't think so. Like,
Maybe,
and like because like I wasn't like an Australian, and for me was like the meaning, like okay of living here, and then I didn't realize there was something then like didn't look as elegant in a woman, Yeah. So what I do, like all the time, I try to use like at the gym, mainly this happens. Like I try to wear like long like socks so I can cover it up. And like I feel a little bit like sometimes try like even my pants are rolled like all the way down and try not to show. So I feel
Lisa said she finds herself self-conscious and wearing certain outfits to cover them. So you can kind of relate to that.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. And then I think it's something then like, as you said, you're like men normally they don't go through that. Like I realize,
not to generalize, but yeah,
I don't like. It's not a big one, but like I do feel a little bit like embarrassed. Like sometimes when I'm wearing heels, and then like if I have the opportunity to cover it up, yes, I do, Lisa. So I totally relates to what you're experiencing, and that's like it's unbelievable that now like we can like have access to the technology and like to remove it, and like we don't have to feel this way anymore, so yes, totally relatable.
What about because you removed 3 of them, what about the other 2? Do they affect you that much, or are they all on different sort of like levels?
It's a little bit like different levels. Like the other one is just here at the bikini area. So I don't look here this area as much, and the other one is in my back. And then I just realized like then it looks like a little bit like not as pretty as used to, and doesn't look as like as sexy.
Yeah. Do you think your hip tattoo, it doesn't bother you as much because you don't see it or other people don't see it?
Other people don't see it. Yeah. And like that one in my back and that one here in my ankle, like kind of like make me feel a little bit like embarrassed because like people can see. And then that's the worry, like I don't want people judge me for the tattoo that I have, like if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
So interesting.
I don't care about judgment, but like I would hate knowing that someone, oh, look, she has like a Southern Cross on her leg. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, that's their problem.
I
get it. Like,
but I know. It's just like, I don't know, like it feels like I feel kind of a relief. Then now I know, then it's coming off. It's way question. Lighter. Yeah.
That's a question I can ask you. And I know the answer because I deal with removals every day. But now that it's starting to fade, does it bother you less? Because the process has started and it's fading, are you still as bothered by it? Or because you're doing something about it, is it bothering you less?
Yeah, it bothers me way less.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and just because it doesn't look as like before was like very dark, so look like was kind of fresh, like was like it was an old one, but like looks pretty strong, and now looks is like coming off. So it seems like, okay, this is kind of leaving your body now, and like it doesn't belong to you anymore. So it has like this sensation of relief instead more like of regret.
Yeah, true.
So
that's interesting.
Yes, it's more like relief instead of regret. So yes, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for asking, and it's totally normal. I feel the same way.
It's nice to have a question that leans on emotion.
Yeah.
I find that tattoo removal is heavily emotional. I even believe one day that could be covered. It could be like an added extra for private health insurance. I could have clients that tell you like it is more important than therapy. And I don't mean that to sound like really exaggerating or anything like that, but truly I've had people that the removal process is so rewarding and so needed and so satisfying for them that I truly believe that one day it could be an added extra for private health or some sort of rebate like this. So yeah, that's a really good question, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Yeah.
I don't know what the time is, but I think we're up, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Lisa, for the questions, Demi and Adam.
Yeah, thank you, guys. It has been very nice, like being able to share, like with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for asking Rita a question. That's awesome. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, in the comment section on YouTube, please click the Google review and 5 stars.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you in 2025.